Hi, my name is Angela Vigil, and I am very proud to be a children's lawyer. I represent children and youth under the age of 18, starting in courts in the United States and now in advocacy and policy around the world, where I am proud to stand up on behalf of future poets, bankers, business owners, artists. But at the moment that I'm standing with them, they are in their most difficult circumstances. They are involved in, accused of committing a crime. They are victimized in a crime. They are trafficked. They might be in the child welfare system. They might be experiencing homelessness. And it's through that work that I come today to be part of this discussion, very honored to be invited, about how we can inspire each other to innovate systems of justice that are created from partnerships with young people. Not just telling young people how their system works and how it's in their best interest, but learning from them how we can achieve best interests. That is not easy. I would be with you today in person, except for I was at the World Justice Forum at the beginning of the week, doing a simulation of what it's like to be a young person going through our different systems, and whether or not learning in this different way as adults, we can really start to think and see how our systems are sometimes about young people without them, and whether or not we can think about different ways to change those systems so they truly are representative of what young people know they need. That simulation, which was part of the first day of the World Justice Forum, was created with young people, saying this is what we feel like when we are talked to by adults in these different systems. And this is how frustrating it can be trying to navigate those systems when they don't work together. Well, that inspires me because I've had the pleasure of standing next to young children in courts and teenagers in courts who listen and are thoughtful and able to understand most of what goes around them, except for their circumstances make it more difficult. And court systems speak different languages. They can understand what's being said, but not what it means. And they don't understand how systems of justice seem to be serving needs of the adults in the system, maybe even those working in the system, and not always theirs. I am inspired by the young people that are speaking today and some of my colleagues in the child advocacy space that have recognized that we have to start thinking differently about how we train adults if those adults are actually going to be part of systems that don't keep kids what they call invisible. We have to reconsider things like the use of deprivation of liberty and detention as just sort of an automatic reaction in so many places. In so many places around the world, including the United States where I practice, while international standards say that it should be a last resort and for the least possible amount of time, because jails are paid for, because doors are open and ready to be filled, because maybe it's our reaction, because it's our past habit, because maybe we don't think about the unintended consequences of what happens when you deprive a person of their liberty. We have way too many children that end up there, way too many teens that stay there because they can't negotiate and navigate with the systems that put them there in order to figure out a place where they could be released. I work primarily with children who are accused of very serious crimes in the United States, and the treatment of them is not what you think about when you think about what young people should be experiencing from any system, certainly not a court system. I am proud and inspired to work with young people to do things like design the simulation we did for the World Justice Forum this week, and to think about how we can do more to be able to make sure that systems are responsive and changing as society changes, and not just staying the way that they've always been. That means planning and collaborating with young people who are involved in systems. I've had the great honor of working on matters, something we call the Exchange for Change, led by LGBTQ youth in the United States, who are trying to speak with corporations about how they can do something on the ground for young people who are in danger just because of how they identify. Had the pleasure of being able to build systems of training lawyers, judges, and others inside legal systems to make it so that the legal systems think through the eyes, see things through the eyes of young people, and not just through the eyes of what might make a system more efficient or quick or more like the other parts of justice systems. The responsibility of working with young people who get caught up into any of our systems of justice is a very serious one that I am honored to serve in. But there has never been a case I was involved in where I didn't learn more from the young person than I'm sure that they learned from me. And I have never understood why it is that we don't value that input from the beginning, from the planning, from the development, as we think about what is a system of justice and how can we make children successful at the end of it, not just address the most immediate, perhaps, behavior or circumstance. There is so much to do, but we inspire each other. I'm inspired from the discussion that folks will have today. And I think lawyers and legal advocates need to be part of that discussion so they make justice systems bend that arc of justice so that it is met for every young person who comes in contact with the justice system. It is a pleasure to at least get a chance to speak with you briefly today and to learn more from everyone involved in this session about what we can do more to inspire innovation, that it's going to be about partnership with young people in every way we can.